Gregor, you've named the team to face England in the opening match in the Guinness Six Nations. Before we look at the team, just a quick note on that fixture. Every game's a big game, but England away from home, a good start. I know that you guys are all looking forward to that match.
Yeah, it's our biggest game of the year. We've played for a trophy for over 100 years for this one-off game within the Six Nations. And this year it's the 150th year of the England-Scotland game. So, now what a game to start a tournament off. The venue as well, to go down to Twickenham, even though there'll be no supporters, is a big challenge for us. So yeah, it focuses the minds at training, that we're bang right into the Six Nations this weekend.
Let's look at the team then you've chosen, Gregor. If we start off in the forwards, I was looking through that you've chosen Rory Sutherland and Xander in the front row, and if you look back at the autumn, I think 4 out of the 5 games you played in the autumn, you went with that combination as well. So a little bit of cohesion there, but are they being rewarded for good form as well?
Yeah, well, Xander's been in great form for more than just the last season. He's really developed all parts of his game, the scrum in particular, but his work rate in attack and defence is outstanding. So he has made that number 3 position his own over the last 2 or 3 years. Rory burst onto the scene for us last year in our first game against Ireland, and has played really well. And in every game he picked up an injury in autumn, but came back for our final game. So yeah, they're in really good physical shape just now, and forming a sort of cohesive unit with each other, with the guys that will come off the bench at some stage, with the hookers. That's been a goal for us over the past 2 weeks.
And just a note on the hooker, George Turner gets his start against England this weekend. Fraser's injured, Stuart's injured, but there's no doubting that he is a quality player as well.
Oh, he is. He's got some outstanding strengths, George. He tackles harder than anyone in our team, and he does that time and time again. He's a really dynamic hooker, low ball carrier, but will take space if he sees it. We saw that in a few games last year, but especially the Italy game, where he had a couple of really good carries that got us back into the game and helped us win the game out in Florence. So, George deserves a start because of his form. He's been unlucky over the last 2 or 3 years to be going up against 2 high quality players in Fraser Brown and Stuart McInally. So it's now an opportunity for him to play and play well right throughout the Six Nations.
And if we look at the rest of the team, the forwards, you've gone again Johnny Gray and Scott Cummings in the second row, and the back row of Jamie Ritchie, Hamish Watson and Matt Fagerson. But I mean, looking at the bench as well, you've got people like Richie Gray available on the bench, and Gary Graham. You've got a lot of choice there, but talk us through your reasoning for who you've gone with to start.
Yeah, well, you put a team together, especially at international level, you want cohesion. So players that have played well together, played well for the team in the past, fit in with the other players. So that's one thing you look at. You also look at form, obviously, and form can be just in the last few weeks. It could be what they did in autumn. A lot of our players haven't played a huge amount of rugby since then, and you back them to be in form when it comes around to Six Nations time. And also you look at the opposition, the type of game you believe they will play and we have to play to win, whether that's matching some of their strengths or imposing our own strengths on the opposition. So we had a number of options, and that's a great position to be in as a coach, that we could have selected different people in that forward pack, different combinations on the bench, and we'd still feel that it was a very strong team. But the squad have got out, and especially the forwards, as you mentioned, we're a very good blend of experience, people that bring their own strengths, whether that's in the set piece or in the loose or in defence, and we feel a bench that can really add to what the starting team are doing.
And just on depth, looking at the backs, then tremendous depth certainly in the kind of the centres, and notable omissions as well there. You've gone for Chris Harris, and obviously making his debut will be Cameron Redpath. We'll come back to Cameron in a second, but again, people like Duncan Taylor and Blair Kinghorn and Darcy miss out. Is that again testament to the amount of good players you've got coming through and available to you?
Yeah, and a bit Blair misses out because of injury, but Blair and Darcy have played a lot of rugby for us over the last few seasons, and when you think of the centres that missed out for this campaign, for this game, but also centres that didn't get selected for the bigger squad. We have growing competition in that area, added with the introduction of Cam Redpath for our squad for the first time, and we're really excited to see him play. He's been in very good form for his club. He's got a mindset of taking on the opposition, being really competitive defensively, fearless with ball in hand, but he's also someone that assesses situations, asks questions, and will quickly adapt to test level. And having Finn inside him over 50 caps will really help around the attacking side of the game. And Chris Harris, who's one of the best defenders in World Rugby, who's played for us for now the last 3 seasons, with him outside centre. I think that's a really good combination and way for Cam to be introduced to international rugby. And
just a note on the opposition, we know them well, playing in the Six Nations, but we also saw a look at them we got a look at them in the Autumn Nations Cup as well, which they won. They're a formidable side, they're a good side, but what else do you expect from them this weekend?
Well, they have a lot of strengths. They could play any game they want to play, but they've certainly decided to play a game that brings out the traditional English strength, which is physicality, set piece, and defence. They have a lot of hard workers in their team, so you see the effort they'll put into to challenge a lot of breakdowns, to chase kicks, and they've got confidence through winning. They've won a number of games all the way through last year, won 2 trophies, so they'll feel that what they do will lead to victories, and we've got to take them away from that mindset. We've got to pressurise them. We've got to show them that their way of playing will not lead to a win, while also taking all the opportunities that we create throughout the game.